Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another day of Be Agile Scrum. We are yet to cover Agile Scrum, and then we'll transition into business analysis very, very soon. We are in week 3. And before I continue, kindly unmute yourself and say yes if you all can hear me well.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for quick confirmation. So let's get started from reminder that exactly what all is expected from you. And I see the speed has gone little not up to the mark. I mean, I'm yet to receive uh, many of you the assignments. Okay, so let me share the screen. As you know, the Agile is full of ceremonies and that demands you to be always show up live. It means that you be on time, remain punctual, and be remain highly committed. Uh, if you are not practitioner of this, consider this training itself as a project and start doing so. And once you get placed, you will identify the urge of having these traits once you get placed in the corporate. And it is also said when it comes to practicing these elements that how you do anything is how you do everything, and you would be able to deliver these traits as an agilist once you get placed. So let's continue from the training itself. Because you chose to learn, you are what happened, you chose to learn, and you by default you are a student, but we want you to be the full stack student who does all the assignments, be it unsaid or said. Do self research and repeat what you learn. Third, while you continue to do so and complete what you start, you automatically hit the success, and you can take the full responsibility of that. But when you don't complete what you start, you may not attract the success, but and that becomes to the, you know, trail to the success is a failure. Why it will become trail to the success, I'll come to that point. But you need to take the full responsibility of that. Only that then only it can become the trail to the success. What will happen when you will take the full responsibility of that? You may embrace it, you may acknowledge it, and you will go back and you may accept it, correct it, and then you will find that failure was not a failure, that became trail to the success. So consider to take the full responsibility of both the elements, be it success or failure. And fourth, to do so, it really requires a concrete mindset. The very first one comes from the continuous improvement of kaizens. That requires a learning mindset. More learning minded you will become, you will find yourself growing positively. More positive mindset you will have, you will find yourself growing more complaint free, in a way that you can deliver any project even in a stringent timeline, and complete it even sometime with the lack of resources. And more you can do that, you will find yourself soaking in more gratitude. And gratitude leads to the highest level of productivity. But remember to start your day with the highest level of receptivity, then only you can do that. When I say highest level of receptivity, for that I have a 30 days challenge. I have spoken about it in day one itself. You can find its detail in the recording of it. And for that you need to just send me uh, an abbreviation like 30DC in WhatsApp DM, and I'll be happily sharing you the audio to participate in 30 days challenge. And second, because you are learning anything technical, remember to follow the golden quadrant of learning that comes with the fourth step. The very two step, we'll do it here. Third and fourth, you do it at your end. So that leaves you with the highest level of recall value from your memory. And let's do it together then, the first and second one. The first one is declaration with the anchor. What is declare, what is anchor? For that you can refer the day one recording itself, where I have detailed it down, and then do the learning. So let's start declaration with the anchor. So what we will be doing, the declaration will be the self hi-fi no declare with the declaration, you will see the anchor will be the self hi-fi or the clap just now you heard. So what I'll be doing, I'll be just counting 1 2 3 and clap. You are going to model me and then repeat the selected statement once I read. on your screen. Can you all see the selected statement on the screen? Just go unmute yourself and say yes.
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 So let's go ahead and do it together along with 1, 2, 3 and clap and repeat. I'm a quick learner.
I'm a quick learner.
Learner.
What others can learn and master,
What
What
others
others
can
can
learn
learn and
and
master,
master,
I too can do that.
I
I
too can do that.
can do that.
One more time with me. 1, 2, 3 and clap and repeat because I'm a quick learner.
Because
Because
I'm a
I'm
quick
a quick
learner.
learner.
Today's learning is going to be
Today's
Today's
learning
learning
is going to be
super duper easy to me.
super duper easy to
is
me.
Yes, it is going to be because you said so. And in case you still found bit awkward while doing so, remember to follow the sixth code of honor. This is especially for those who are coming from the vast background and you are not open enough to contribute in the projects wherever you work. So remember to be a giver. Giver means keeping ego away on the path of learning. That makes you more spiritually grounded on the path of growth. When I say spiritually grounded means your happiness level increases and happiness leads to the highest level of productivity, and that is the demand of the corporate. And while you do so, you remember that you are not here just for the learning, but to earn and earn more. When it is said that earn more, it means that it is expected that what you want more of, you must start giving away the portion of, and for that it is expected from you to give away 5% or 10% of your earning to the causes wherever you believe in. And in case you are not earning, can you have at least an intent to give away once you get place? How much? 5% or 10% only. And what all the causes you can give away? The causes could be feeding hungry children, donating into orphanage or old age home, or even donating into churches, mosque, gurudwara or temple. You can choose where to donate in. So just 5% or 10%. Why? Because when you give, you grow. When you receive, you may survive. And I'm sure that you are not here for survival, but for the growth for sure. And while you do so, continue to appreciate what you do, what others do for you. And even it does not seem like it is helping you back initially when you are contributing, remember to continue, because it is the universal law that says that what you appreciate appreciates you back. So with these six code of honor, we are going to abide by with the rule to contribute into these training, and so that we can gain the most out of it. And how we are going to remain connected, like today we will be meeting every technical for every technical session on Sunday 10 p.m. Monday we will be again meeting for the next technical session at 10 p.m. tomorrow. Tuesday, it is expected from you to mandatorily attend RRP sessions. That is reference ready resume preparation is the gateway for your placement. That strengthens your visibility and creates more credibility, and thereby strengthens your marketability. Wednesday, it is expected from you to complete the assignment from the learning of Sunday. Thursday, you need to again repeat. Yes, you heard it right. Repetition is the key over here. You must repeat the RRP session second time in the week, because you know the drill now, that it strengthens your visibility, creates credibility, and thereby strengthens your marketability. And Friday, you must complete the assignment from the learning of Monday. Saturday, you can choose to relax or have a breather day. Or do the research work, or repeat whatever you have learned, or prepare any question that you want to answer on the next technical session, that is on Sunday. So this is how we are going to abide by. So let's get started from where we had left off. So you remember what was the topic we were talking about last time? Who remembers that?
Sprint review.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rashmi. Yeah, it was a sprint review. But before I continue talking about sprint review, a quick question to you. Anyone here for the first time? This is your day one with me in the live session. Anyone here for the first time? It's your day one with us in the live session. Okay, I'll take it as no. You have been regular. So let's continue. Yes, with the sprint review. Uh, and we'll continue from where we had left off. We were talking about the agenda of sprint review. Um, we understood what development team will talk about, what product owner will talk about, and let's understand about the development team as well, that what they will talk about. And we will be looking at 7 such points what development team will talk about, and I want 7 different people be ready to read the 7 bullet points that is going to come at my screen, and go one by one. Please start reading out one by one.
Reviewing the goal for the sprint.
Mm-hmm.
Demonstrating new features implemented during the sprint.
Mm-hmm.
Requesting
Requesting
feedback from the
feedback from the
stakeholders.
stakeholders.
Right.
Discussing work not yet accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
Identifying risk and impedance.
Mm-hmm.
Reviewing project increment objectives.
Mm-hmm.
Looking ahead to the next sprint using the top lines from the product backlog.
Yeah, thank you so much for reading this out. Yes, you are right. So when we say that agenda for sprint review, especially from development team point of view, you are talking about the entire sprint outcome. You remember in the sprint planning, you come up with the sprint outcome. Okay, that will become your goal. You will talk that whether these goals have been achieved or not. Okay, and if it is achieved, you need to show how. What do you need to show?
How?
How? Yeah. So how can only come when you will talk about all those features, what you have included, and make them work. Okay. You will talk about how they work. You will talk about what all impediments you went through, what all the risk you have overcome, and how you have accomplished it, so that it can fulfill the objective of these functionality. And then once you demonstrate that, then ask for the feedback from the stakeholder whether they are identifying it as they had expected. They may say yes or no, but in general, if you made the expectation or requirement, generally you get a go. What you get, everyone?
A go.
Goal.
Ago. And it means that you can start looking at the upcoming sprint, and you will announce over there that there are upcoming few user stories on which you are trying to work upon. So when we say sprint review and the user story, the question should be coming, and it has been in the past, that how it has to you tell me how to form such user story. We will be jumping onto that, but before that, there are few elements that we need to know, and we will continue to covering through the remaining product backlog in the sprint review itself, that to bring in front of us, that will be the preparation for you, or target for you to consider into the next sprint planning meeting. In next what, everyone?
Sprint
Sprint
planning
plan
meeting.
meeting.
Planning meeting.
Exactly, in the next sprint planning meeting. But understand, in sprint review, what happens is this. Okay, you will have the increments. That is the this increment is the product backlog for sure. That is the meeting where you just talk about all the product backlog you have achieved already, and whether it is ready to move to the done column or not. You remember we were talking about the Kanban board. In the Kanban board, things will move from to do to in progress to review to done. Okay,
Yeah.
and you will update those product backlog towards the done, and then you will declare the next planning date. Generally, product owner or scrum master declares that what will be the next sprint planning meeting, or your entire team will be meeting for that. Generally, the duration of any sprint review will be 2 to 4 hours. 4 hours if your sprint is of 4 weeks, 2 hours if it is of 2 weeks. With me so far, everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. So what if your sprint is of 1 week? How long sprint review meeting should go?
1 hour.
1 hour.
1 hour. Absolutely brilliant. So now let's understand, when your sprint review is done, or you are into sprint review, what is the importance of quality? I want someone to read the first bullet point for me.
In Scrum, each sprint is required to deliver a potentially shippable product increment. This means that at the end of each sprint, the team has produced, coded, tested, and usable piece of software.
Yeah. So when it comes to sprint review with the best quality, it means that it has been tested, and it has been tested. It means that it has to be test passed. Then only it can go under sprint review in front of the client. Okay. And when we say that if it is getting demonstrated in front of the client, it means that it is not the entire software. If it is not entire software you are going to deliver, then what you are going to deliver?
Usable piece of software.
Exactly, usable piece of the software. Once it is tested and coded, then only it can become the usable piece of software. So always remember, it has to be used by the customer for sure. I want someone to read the second bullet point.
During the sprint review, the project is assessed against the sprint goal determined during the sprint planning meeting.
Yeah, as I said earlier, you remember the sprint planning meeting, we decided what all the outcome would be, and against those outcome, because those were the goal when you started, you will be checking that what all you have completed, whatever you had decided, because that is the time when you can come up with, okay, this part is done, but you will still identify this is missed. But do you know one hack I'll share with you, that when you do the sprint review meeting, it doesn't happen towards exactly on the end of the sprint. Okay, it will become bit before the end of the sprint date. With me so far, everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I want someone to read the third bullet point for me.
Ideally, the team has completed each product item bought into the sprint, but it's more important that they achieve the overall goal of the sprint.
Yeah. So yes, thank you for reading this out. So generally what is going to happen, that in the sprint, whatever the product backlog you have completed, you will be talking about it. But understand that the goal which you have achieved has to go ahead with the purpose of bringing more value. Okay, when I say bringing more value can only come when you are going ahead with the quality, what customer is expecting, what could be useful for customer, and in return it has given you motivation to move further. Okay, so someone please read the first bullet point here as well.
Crossing the finish line and completing work requires good planning, a clear definition of done, and focused execution. This all is reflected in the sprint review.
Yeah, thank you so much for reading this out. See here, you will find not the reaching to the finish line. It is talking about crossing the finish line. Okay, it means that your work is done, and after that you are meeting for the sprint review. That defines you have crossed the finish line, and you have got a go from customer as well, and that gives you the green to continue the work. And here when you um, reflect upon the work you have done and share with the customer, and that completes the complete sprint review. When we say that when you are moving things towards the done, it means that every single criteria has met, that has been the part of done. Then it will be also called as definition of done. What it will be called as?
Definition of done.
It means that in sprint planning meeting, you will define what? Not done, then readiness. What you will define in sprint planning?
Readiness.
Readiness. And in the sprint review, you will be coming up with definition of done. Is it clear? A simple classification?
Yes.
Yeah. And short form of this two element is DOR and DOD. What are the short form of a definition of ready and definition of done?
DOR and DOD.
Yes, absolutely right. Please read the second bullet point for me.
A culture of delivery. Effective teams bring clear processes and development culture to each and every work item.
Yeah, thank you for reading this out. So it says clearly, okay, it's not just a delivery, it's a culture of delivery. Okay, it means that what you are demonstrating? Only the product backlog that you have completed? No, along with the definition of done, you will be also talking about the processes and how exactly it has evolved to this point where each and every work item has become workable today, and that will define the development culture over here. Someone read the last point.
Following questions need to be asked and answered during the review. Are stories well defined by the product owner, designer, and the engineering team before implementation?
Yeah, so you have implemented, but remember during the review, I mean, it should not be asked. The ask should happen during the planning, but or say execution, but during the review, you should be answering them. Really, they were well defined and you met the criteria, and that answer should go to the product owner. The designer will be asked and engineering team will be asked about it, and before execution or before implementation you will be asked about these understanding whether it has been understood, because before implementation if you can ask this question, then only there are chances during the or after the implementation you can be the you can come up with the right answer which has been which has been contributed by you. In this best quality, please read the first bullet point for me.
Does everyone understand and live the team's engineering values and culture?
Yeah, thank you so much for reading this out. Now you understand over here when we started the entire track. In fact, when you entered in this Guru schools, it was all about the principles, six pillars principle. When you entered into the track, and every day we start with the core values we talk about. Okay. Likewise, when you are practicing the sprint and scrum and agile, you need to ask whether you are abiding by the principle and values of scrum or agile or not. These questions you must ask, and not for one individual, it is for entire team. It is for whom?
Entire team.
Entire team.
Entire team. Thank you. Someone read the second.
Are there clear definitions and requirements around code review, automated testing, and continuous development to encourage sustainable agile development?
Yeah, thank you so much for reading this out. So yeah, the development is always agile. It is always on the product which has to be sustainable, which has to be viable, feasible, and continuous deliverable. Okay, so here when you are defining the definition of product backlogs that you had taken during the sprint planning meeting. So there, not only just the functionality will be reviewed first, also your codes will be reviewed, requirement will be reviewed, whether they are up to the standard. Why? Because, in code review, what happens, or with the best quality, your code will not have any unnecessary line of code, LOC to which we call it. What do we call it?
LOC.
LOC,
LOC means?
Line of
unnecessary line of code.
Unnecessary
line of
code.
Yeah, line of codes that is required. Okay, but you will not just look at the line of code LOC, but also the unnecessary, unwanted. If you can trim them, you can discard them, so that your quality will continue to improve. So these questions when you will ask, then you can take the corrective action towards meeting the best quality criteria. Someone please read the third bullet point for me.
After the team completes a story, are there many bugs that surface? In other words, does done really mean done?
Yeah. So sometime what happens in sprint review, when you have marked the user story into done, make sure as a scrum master, as a future scrum master or a business analyst, but because scrum master is the coach, is the responsible sprint, he will make sure that whatever has moved to the done when it comes to user story, any attached bugs has also not gone into the done, because you have to check along with the user story, because user story will be having direct action item. All right. When user stories will have direct action item, you are making sure with these action item where there are many errors into it or not. If there are many errors, they will be logged under the project management system or project management tool. And these bugs, even if they are smaller, like cosmetic, like a small comma is missing or something like that, to which we will call it as a cosmetic bug, even they have marked as done into it. If not, then it cannot be marked as done. Is it clear, everyone? Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone please read the fourth one.
The team's culture around quality and completion should rise above every user story, engineering work item, and bug. This culture is reflective of how the team approaches and delivers software.
Yeah. So it's all about mentality. Thank you so much for reading this out. This is all about the mentality, how you are proposing and demonstrating the entire user story. When you say that you have completed, it means that none of the open bugs are there, and you are delivering the user story with any of the open bugs. It means that if you are giving even the cosmetic one and you say that okay, it's done, I know, it means that you are compromising but with the quality. But at the same time, during the review, customer himself or herself may say that please make this cosmetic work as a part of the next sprint. Try to deliver me this because I'm in need of timely delivery, and I want these to go uh, without these minor bugs. And when he himself or herself decides that few cosmetic bugs can be the part of the next sprint, you will be happily pushing them or graduating them towards the next sprint. But you will agree as per the customer's consent to deliver those user story, but at the same time making sure these which has been forwarded to the next sprint, the cosmetic bugs will become the part of that sprint, and you will move them to the new user story. You will move them where, everyone?
New user story.
Yeah, to the new user story. Now, when these all things have come, is it something that you can go ahead because you have delivered something? Okay, customer has received something. Then it means that you can wrap up with the note of party, because this is the party time. Okay, when you are doing this wrapping up the sprint review, you see the wonderful picture over here that this is not just a formal meeting and you are done. You can celebrate as well. I want someone to read the last paragraph on this slide, please.
And finally, celebrate. An effective sprint review can be that place where the Scrum team and stakeholders come together for serious, powerful collaboration, but it is also a time to celebrate all together the hard work of the Scrum team has accomplished before they plunge into the next sprint.
Yeah, thank you so much for reading this out. Yes, you are all set for the next sprint. But remember, this is now the fun time. And on a lighter note, you can disperse from the meeting room where you have just done the sprint review. When we are talking about sprint review, is the new term which has coined up. Okay, you give each other high five and then disperse. But remember to understand that it was not a simple demonstration, because when it comes to demonstration, only you will look at the codes which have been completed. You will only focus on the user stories. You will only focus on the feedback that is coming on your way on the working software, and that will lead to the boring meeting. What kind of meeting it will be when you are just going ahead with the demo?
Boring.
It will
Boring
be a
one.
boring meeting.
Yeah, but we want not so boring, and that's the reason it has to be the review where you can celebrate every single demonstration. When every single review, it means that you will just not focus on the showing the code, but you will be talking about the business value you are delivering. You will be sharing that. You will be not only talking about the goals or objective this is going to be, you will talk about the context inside which the value is getting delivered. When I say inside which value is delivered, imagine imagine glass of water where the glass is made of a glass is there, and that is holding the that could be cup of the coffee. The cup is strong context inside the value is what value is the aromatic coffee, whatever you like. Okay, likewise what you are delivering, that is very important. And then while this is happening, it has to be conversational. Okay, how it is impacting to the customer, that can only become the part of conversation. Okay, and this is how we will be disbursing. But we have understood how the sprint review happens. At the same time, we need to understand, when we talk about the done part, what exactly we mean by done. Understand definition of done. Okay, so I want someone to read this last line over here.
DOD is a shared understanding within the Scrum team on what it takes to make your product increment releasable.
Yes. So you need to understand, when we say the DOD is the shared understanding, and you need to ask what it takes for make your product uh, increment releasable. When I say increment releasable, means it is ready to graduate towards the shipment. Okay, so you should be asking a question. When we say done, means the releasable, means what makes it releasable. So I'll give you certain question. Okay, for that I want four different people to read four bullet points for me over here, please.
What does it take for the rocket to launch?
Mm-hmm.
What does it take for the service engineer to call the customer for delivery of his or her vehicle?
Mm-hmm.
What does it take for a doctor to say the surgery is a success?
Mm-hmm.
What does it take for the development team to put the product into production?
Yeah. And do you know the answer to all the question is only one? And I want you to think of that answer. So before you utter out those answer, I want you to give me answer to this question. What it will be called for the automobile engineer to which you have given your car for servicing? Okay, and before he says, picks up the call and say that, okay, your car is ready, but car is ready for you to take back, or we are coming with the delivery of the car. What it will all take for custom for the that vendor or the person or the engineer to tell that this is done, servicing is over, servicing is done. What he will do to declare that
When the car is 100%
the car is
functionable, it's working totally in a fine manner.
yeah. So what he will refer to, against which he can say that it is done. Yeah, minimum function we are not talking. We are talking about every single part. What we have taken is getting delivered. Okay, so for everything what you will refer to, and then you can say that, okay, it can be launched, it can be delivered, it can be disbursed, it can be graduated.
We'll make sure that he goes through every step of what he needs to put the whole vehicle into.
Yeah, so what you can call to all those steps in one word or two? What you will be doing when you are going step, then you are doing what?
Step.
Inspection.
Inspection. What is the another word for that inspection?
Testing.
Testing. But yeah, testing you are okay. You are so another word for testing, a simple word.
Like make it work, yeah, to show
What
your
is
work to someone.
yeah? So what is the simple word for the testing or inspecting?
Review.
Analyzing.
Analyzing. Bring one more word.
Review.
Examine.
Yeah, reviewing. Other word.
Examine.
Examine. Another simple word I am looking for.
Done.
Simple word, make understandable simple word. What you are doing?
Trying, trial.
You are referring to something, and then going back and you are marking it done. You are referring. Yeah. So what you are doing in a simple word?
Referring
Referring.
to manual.
Yeah, you are referring to manual and then marking it done. So what you are doing, the process will be called as what in a simple layman term?
Trying out.
No, you are referring a manual, say for example,
Okay.
every point, then going ahead. Okay, it is done. It is done. Okay. So
Talking.
what this process will be called?
Revision.
In examination, okay, not only we say it is being examined, your papers are also done this, undergo this. What is another word? What teachers do
Correcting.
with it? Yeah, so give me a simple word for that.
So revision can be the word.
No, the teacher will not.
Thank
Okay, when teacher does this with your paper. So
Correcting
once
the papers.
Correcting the
teacher
paper.
does not correct.
Checking.
Yeah,
Valuation.
checking is the word.
Checking.
I
Checking.
was,
Okay.
yeah, right.
Okay.
So when you will check, you will refer to what? When you will check all these activity, you will refer to a manual. What you can call to that manual? Forget about the teacher's exam. Checklist is the word. Thank you so much for bringing
Checklist.
that. Yes, so that's the word. So when you see things are deliverable or releasable, when you will answer to everything, everyone will have a checklist, and against that they will be marking as done. Do you all agree with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And when everything will be marked as a ticked, okay, then only you can go ahead and deliver to that. Okay. So always remember, when one can deliver one thing, when the checklist has been marked as check, and check. So for that, three component you need to understand. The first one is the basic functional requirement that has been marked as done. Quality you have checked of the highest value. Even the non-functional requirement you have marked as done. Non-functional means it is loading faster. Non-functional, it is means it is performing better. So likewise, it is usable, it is testable. Everything, it is bringing things to the speed that you have checked. Okay. So with this note, when we are talking about these are the part of DOD and definition of done, this is now time where you understand how these user story, which you have marked as a part of a under definition of done, should be written as well. And for that, let me bring quickly in front of you. Just give me a second, guys, before I flip the chart. I'm flipping the slide right now for you. And before we move to that, okay. So here, what will happen when we are talking about these all functionality? It means that user stories will be there. What the code deployment, these are the tickets. Okay. It means when you are marking things as done, you will see the functionality like code deployment has been marked as done. You will check the parent of it is the user story has been marked as a done. User story will become the part of release. Even that will move towards the done. And sprint is the also part of the user sprint, sorry, release is the part of the sprint, will go towards the done. You see that everything is the child of itself, child of new element. Okay. Inside sprint you will be working on the release. Inside release you will be working on epics or user stories, and inside user story you will be working on the code deployment activity, or testing activity, or analyzing activity or integration activity. So every single activity will be marked as done. Then user story will move to done. Then the release will move to done. Then the sprint will move to done. With me so far, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
Yes.
it means that we are covering over here these three main components. Now understand how user stories will be written. So for that, there is a format. What should we have?
Format.
Format.
Format. So any user story will have these components. So first you need to understand that when we are writing a user story, there will have three components over here. One will be called as user and actor. They will be performing some action, and that's the reason you will be including action part. And these action will create some impact, and that's the reason you will be answering the why. It means that when we say three components, means you will be writing a user. Who will be that user? Imagine you are in a bank. Tell me who all will be the user.
Customer.
The account holders.
Tellers,
Customer, account holder. Who else? In a bank, who all you will find?
the tellers,
The tailors. Who else?
the account managers,
Account manager. Who else?
bank manager, assistant
Bank.
manager.
Exactly. Tailor,
Yeah,
clerk, or
clerk.
cashier, or bank manager, assistant bank manager. Every single person are, even customer are what? User.
Users.
Because at one point in time they can perform certain activity, and what all certain activity you can think of can be performed over there by all these actors or the users.
The teller
What?
will
Depositing, withdrawing.
Depositing,
Opening
withdrawing, but
account.
opening
opening
account.
account.
Yeah. So all these users or persons, they are also referred as actor, can do all these activity. They can check even the balance. They can check, customer can check their balance, and in case customer is going for loan, even the senior branch manager or assistant manager, bank manager can also check their bank balance, how they have maintained, whether they to check to before the going to check his eligibility criteria of the loan. Is it possible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if the balance can be checked, it means that what all impact it can create. First impact will be, of course, the so that the balance is known. What else? What all the impact it will create? Normal checking balance will create what all kind of impact? Defining the eligibility criteria of the loan. Yes.
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 Okay, so that the customer will aware how much minimum balance to be maintained. Yeah.
Yeah.
How much amount is missing from maintaining the balance.
Yes.
Right. These all the knowledge he may have, and that will be direct or indirect impact. With me so far, everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
So if you know these all things, okay, and when you have crafted such user story, what else you can add into that? You can add a normal design. You remember that last time when Prerna was talking about, she was talking about how to have the mock-ups or say workflow. Okay. So those mock-up were high definition. I don't know whether she covered into here or not, but normal workflow has to be brought into the user story creation. Okay. There are some, when we say workflow, it means normal design, okay, or flow chart you can include to showcase that what this user story is doing. Some data point you want to consider, that you can attach into the comment. If you're writing this in the one ticket, okay, user story, then in the comment of that user story you can include these all, any particular business rule that if you are writing for the account balance checking, and some company has a rule, or bank has a rule, that every Monday check balance function will be disabled. Say for example, you will be mentioning that. Okay, so
Mhm.
that even that will be checked. Acceptance criteria, you will be detailing it out, that along with these functionality, what all activity can be done. User can definitely walk into the bank, user can make sure the branch is open. So these all are becoming the acceptance criteria by default. These action will be taken care with me so far.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's go a little bit deeper and understand this. Okay, in the next level, I want someone to read this ticket for me, the left one.
As a flyer, I want to view my past trips so that I can find out how much LTA I can claim.
So the first objective is that flyer is the same and flyer can be changed. Okay, so if flyer 1 can check this, then flyer 2, for flyer 2, will the same user story should be referred or the new user story? The new user story. If flyer is you, and flyer could be the agent as well, he can also check the same activity. So for agent, there will be the separate user story. For the primary user, there will be the separate user story.
Okay.
Okay, if you are logging in to check on your past trip, and tomorrow if you will be logging in to check your uh, next trip to plan, there will be again two separate user story, not the same user story. With me so far? It means you will be creating new user story. So for flyer, this will be one user story. For agent, there will be another user story. For flyer to plan the next trip will be the next user story, third user story. For agent to plan on your behalf, the next step will be the fourth user story. Now, again, if you are logging in here to check your LTA to claim, and tomorrow if you want to log in to check how many miles you have earned, the objective differs. So you will have the fifth user story. Okay, for user, you as a primary user, you will create a new user story where now you are checking for the miles you have earned. If agent is logging in, there will be another sixth user story where you will be creating with the objective to miles your customer or agent's customer has earned. You might be questioning, okay, why can't I club them all together? If for one user I will club all these activity at once, for new user, another user, for agent I will club all the activity for him. Okay, so no, it doesn't function in that way. If you will club everything, there are chances of missing multiple things. With me so far?
Yes.
So that is the reason, for every user, there will be a new user story. For every action, there will be a new user story. And for every impact, there will be a new user story. With me so far, everyone?
Yes.
And if you have created such user stories, what you, in the inverted comma, can include the acceptance criteria. Okay, when I say acceptance criteria, it means that while you are checking this, you can also check, should be able to find the rupees spent per trip. Okay, that will be easily checked while checking the first user story. Should be able to find out the rupees spent on the financial year. These kind of report can be generated. So these will come easily with the user story. If you are able to understand, then you will be including them into the comment. Okay, when I'll be checking this, I can also check these elements with it. With me so far?
Yeah.
It means that for the second one, what could be the acceptance criteria? The miles spent per trip you can identify. Okay, if miles earned, you can identify miles in every trip what it was giving to you, and thereby you can just check what will be the validity of those miles. Likewise, you can check that in what quarter how much miles you have uh, accumulated. Those things you can check. Yes? Yes or no? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to go through this table. Okay. In this table, um, imagine this is the Fly Agile Airlines. Which airlines?
Fly Agile Airlines.
And you are a registered, you are registered frequent flyer. If you are a registered frequent flyer, it means there could be unregistered not so frequent flyer. If frequent flyer is, can be two types, either they are registered or they are unregistered. Okay, and this is the example of it. Okay, so, and the objective is that you want to book a ticket to uh, ticket through this airlines. Its name is Fly Agile, And now you are focusing that you can gain your miles. Okay. So you can focus on gaining miles. Now, this was just an example, but when you will see here the table, uh, you have three types of distance, and in each distance, there are two types of class. You can choose to travel one type of distance with the one type of class if you are the registered customer of that airlines, and those customer can be the bronze customer or silver customer or the gold customer. Okay. So what is going to happen is that if you are registered bronze customer, okay, so you can write user story in this format. Okay. As a bronze frequent flyer, you want to travel up to 1,000 kilometer in economy class, so that what you can claim, how
50.
We
much.
can gain miles,
50%.
50% of miles.
Yeah, it can with the discount as well. Okay, you can just
Ah,
claim your 50% kilometers count to gain the miles. Okay, so it means that for bronze you can cover these three. Likewise, you can cover this. So you will see that three types. Okay, in a two different classes. Okay, for one type of distance. Likewise, so these are three types of distance. How many minimum user story you can come up with? How
minimum
many? Yeah, go ahead.
3.
Okay, and maximum, minimum, maximum, it's not three. Three will be only covering the one which I shared already. Okay, I
18.
want 18. That's the right answer. 3 into 2 into 3, right? You will be coming up with 18. So do you think you will be able to attempt to write the user story in this format only? If your user story is not in this format, as a, I want to show that if these three elements are not there, your user story will likely to be rejected. With me so far?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So can you create the user story for these? Can I expect a user story from you? Not one, all these 18 minimum, where you need to just mention it. Just mention it in one line. And this will be additional for you if you can include the acceptance criteria. Minimum, you can take it as a part of, you can take it as a part of what? You can take it as a part of, yeah, homework. Can you do that, everyone? Do you think you will be able to do that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just copying this format and just writing all the 18 user story. Acceptance criteria, you see here that what goes along with it. Okay. When you are creating that, it means that you will be logging into the portal. If you are registered user, means you will be authenticated with the username and password. Okay. So making sure that this functionality to authenticate user exists. Okay. You should be able to search the flight. The fly agile airlines should be there. You will be able to search for the or you will be able to select the flight. Okay, if you want to book a new new trip. Okay, you should be able to enter the passenger details. Everything is finalized. You can make the payment. You check that all the payment option is there. So even you can check. Then you can confirm the payment and add miles to the passenger profile. Okay, so these all activity will be the acceptance criteria inside every user story. With me so far?
Yes.
Yeah. So I have captured this. So guys, any questions so far? That checklist you are going to prepare. Okay. Any questions so far? Please ask. See, this is quite easy once you do that. It will not so easy if you not do that. And that's the reason I want everyone to do that. And I have captured the screen of it. I'll be posting into the WhatsApp group so that you can continue to refer it to complete your homework, or say home play, so that because you will have the fun while you will be doing that. Can I get yeses from you that you will be able to do that? Everyone just unmute and say yes.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of you,
Yes.
even those people
Yes.
who are on mute, can you complete it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
next week I'm expecting these things to be completed from you. With this note, we'll move to the next topic, and for that I want to invite Prerna. Prerna, can you take this slide please for me?
Yes, sure, Gaurav. Yeah,
Thank you, Prerna.
give me a second. So let us learn about how we can, inculcate quality into the overall process. Give me a second. Yeah. So can I request a couple of people to read out the contents mentioned on the screen, please?
Quality is largely aligned to the coding language, rapid application development RAD, technical tools to build the product. Quality is owned by the development team to ensure that the product is of the maximum quality. These quality standards can be subjective and also data driven.
Yes. Now, it is, honestly speaking, it is very, it's a different scenario when we talk about quality in rapid application development, because as a layman, we cannot see what kind of coding anybody is. Have we moved to the next screen? Yeah, the screen has changed. Gaurav, we can go to the earlier screen. Yeah. Gaurav, the screen has changed, okay? So basically, rapid application development, what it means, what it says, it means that your application development process we need to do in a rapid format. Rapid format means there has to be a consistent pace. And when we talk about pace, when we talk about speed, that doesn't mean we have to compromise on the quality. Okay. So how we can maintain quality? Some of the pointers are, as I come from the development background, there are very minute things that as a developer you need to follow, like having good coding standards, having high quality syntax and semantics. That means whenever you write any code, you ensure that there are no excessive or repetitive code you're writing. There should not be any blocks in the code. That means sometimes you go to any website or web page, and that web page is it's actually just circling, and it's like kind of like loading scenario you get, and there is no result. Have you come across certain things at times?
Yes.
No, yeah. So that type of scenarios happen if you have not written the code properly at times. Okay. So we need to ensure that that is happening properly. Gaurav, can you share your screen, or no? I think the screen share has stopped. I think Gaurav is not in the call. Yeah, 1 second. Let me just check with him. Okay. His system is down. Okay, no worries. Yeah. So he's backing it up. So basically, what happens is whenever we now let me give you some background when we talk about RAD, or rapid application development. So what happens in whenever we are kind of understanding from Agile and Scrum point of view, it's a fast-paced environment. Okay, fast-paced environment means that project delivery has a limited amount of time given. Like, we talk about sprints and we talk about uh, project duration. So, for example, you have 2 to 3 weeks sprint. That means within that duration, we have to, complete the development. We have to deliver to the client, and in that very much limited amount of time, we have to ensure that we work as per requirement, and we work in a very consistent manner. That means, for example, if you have per se 10 requirements to be worked upon in this 2 week sprint, okay, I'm just giving a hypothetical example. So 10 days, so 2 weeks is actually 10 working days, right? 5 days per week as a weekday pattern, week per week's like 5 working days. So in such a scenario, our goal has to be completing one deliverable each day. Okay, it might consider it as a very simple or smaller one. So in the same fashion, we can complete that in 2 weeks. Okay, wherein sometimes what happens due to some technical complexities, or due to some issues at the understanding level, or maybe last minute unavailability of your resource, one of the resources, those things can be delayed. Okay, there can be a possibility, I'm just saying. So how to avoid that? Okay, so here what we were understanding, some of the examples of how we can manage quality. Okay, can I request like 2, 4, 6, 7 different people to read out the 7 points mentioned under the example category? Yeah, there are 7 points. Please go ahead.
Define coding standards like identified in tools, FX scope, etc.
Test-driven
Test-driven
development,
development,
Yes, go ahead.
unit test coverage,
maintainability index,
No
No
defects,
defects or known defects,
technical debt,
design principles, etc.
Oh, sorry, I was speaking on mute, my bad. So yes, how do we manage quality in this scenario? Starting with first and foremost, very simple but very practical, is define coding standards like identified in tools, XCOP, etc. So that is what we were trying to understand. You should have coding standards, means whenever you write a code, whenever you are programming something, there the quality has to be good. The coding that you do, that does not mean that you have completed your job and you're done and dusted. No, the person that would come after you, or maybe after a couple of years, when somebody looks at that code, he or she should be able to understand what is happening, and how that code is written, and that code should be properly managed. Now this is a little technical angle to it, but just for your understanding, you can have this point mentioned, that as a good practice, developers have to follow coding standards. Okay,
Mhm.
when we say this, technical people definitely understand, because see how we have principles of agile, and so same way coding also has their own set of like standards, like do not have any I would say extra variables, or anything that is not used, please do not have that in your code. So there are some of the things which are highlighted, which is okay if we just know the overall understanding, not in detail, because that comes on a technical side. Second is test driven development. Absolutely right. Now, what does it mean? Like, for example, imagine if you have guests coming in at your place, okay? And you're cooking something, okay? For for the guests, you are trying to cook maybe some of the new new dish you are preparing. And will you just prepare that and give that to the customer, or you will have uh someone to taste it? Or maybe not only you might ask your spouse or your kids or anyone at your family, your parents, to test it before serving it to the customer, or sorry, serving it to the a guest, or giving it to someone. How does you do that, especially in case of any particular new dish? Do you do the testing, or you directly serve or give?
We'll taste it before we serve.
Do the
Testing.
testing.
Definitely taste. Why? Can I ask you why?
To be sure of its quality.
Okay. Definitely sure of its quality, sure of how it tastes. Is there anything less, need to add some salt or maybe check on some spices or overall. So it's simply that whenever we are creating something new and we need to deliver that to the third person, to other person, we have to ensure that we have to do a proper testing. So test driven development simply means that even though as a developer you're developing something, you're creating some programs or functionality, websites, web applications, anything, mobile applications, that the focus should be also on testing along with the development. Okay, now how to do that testing? That is called as unit test coverage. Unit test coverage means, now till now I think everybody has understood that along with development team, not in agile but overall, along with development we always have a testing team also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dedicated. Okay, in scrum or agile we have everyone in the same team. Okay, but that doesn't mean it is only the responsibility of testing team. Even as a development team, you, or even as a developer, you also need to work on the unit test. Now what do you mean by unit test? Unit test simply means whatever work you are doing as a developer, that single piece of work also you need to test. Like for example, if you take example of Amazon.com and imagine that you are at the homepage of Amazon. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the homepage of Amazon says? Any, or rather any homepage, what it says, you have to enter your username and password. And if you've forgotten your password, you need to go to the another page and provide some details or stuff like that, or register yourself. These are some of the options. Now imagine as a developer when you're working on this functionality, you have to thoroughly test it. Test it means try putting in, like, first of all, register yourself with a proper email ID, a proper user ID and password, and then I'm giving you a very simple example, and then try to log in with the wrong password with the same user ID. The system should not allow you to log in. Make sense? So same way, yeah, same way, for every kind of functionality, there is a unit test that needs to be done by the
Developer.
developer. Yeah. So always remember, unit test is always done by the developer, because it's like a first level sanity check that is done by development team, and then they give to their developed code. Their functionality is handed over to training testing team for the further in detail testing. Okay. The
Mm-hmm.
next part is maintainability index. Now, remember, I was telling you, like, whenever we write any code, that code needs to be, not only looked up and checked by you, but it should be also understandable and maintainable by others, even when you're not there. Now, we all know that developers or sorry, or people, they at times, at least at junior level, frequently change jobs. So it's not that the person who had developed the code will continue at your maybe company for a longer time. Just for understanding purpose, I'm explaining in this manner. So imagine if that person who has worked on the development of this functionality is not available, but that doesn't mean the work will stop. There should be proper commenting. Commenting is basically means whatever piece of code you're writing or functionality you're developing, you have to mention that, okay, now this is what we have done, this is what we are, this is this code will do this functionality. Okay, it is checking login ID and password, it is checking authentication of the user, it is checking further, uh, it is kind of this functionality is bringing the if it is a banking application, this functionality is checking the balance of the customer, this functional. So all these actually comments are written, and by the way, well commented code are always appreciated, because though it's developers job to understand all this, but having appropriate and in detail comments really help new people or new team to understand the existing code better. If you come up with any user manual, or if you have any guidelines while you are, for example, dealing with any new equipment. It is so easy for you, right? You know, okay, this button does this, or this is the functionality that we need to work on. Same way, if someone else is working on the code and there are properly commented code, it's very easy for them. So why I'm explaining all this? So from the maintainability index point of view, it basically has a value between 0 to 100. Okay, this is for your understanding. I'm not sure anybody would ask you this, but it is for your basic understanding. So in this scenario, okay, the higher the value of the maintainability index, the better it is. That means, your code is, it's easy to understand, easy to read. If there are any issues in that, they are easy to identify. And then, anyone working on that code is comfortable, tweaking that or changing that or stuff like that. So basically, it means maintainability index has a value between, always understand, just for your knowledge purpose, it's from 0 to 100. Like, the code is given like the it might be, for say, if your code has a maintainability index of 25, that means it is honestly on a lower side, whereas it is of like, per se, 85. So it is in a better code. It is a very good to understand code. So it will, it will be helpful for any developers who are working on that, even in the long term. So remember this from your understanding point of view. Next point is, sorry, no defects or known defect. Now there is a concept of known defects. Okay, now many a times, while we are working on development. So what happens? Some of the there are some issues in the existing code. Okay, now this is a reality. Like, for example, imagine a particular page on a website is taking time to load. Now the developer knows that it is taking a longer time compared to other pages. Why? Because there might be some API call, there might be some database connection, like a lot of data is getting pulled on that page or something like that. Now it is honestly not a defect, but it is something that is not as per the standards, I would say. Okay, sometimes there are defects also, like, no, they are in a way camouflaged, or they are handled, so we don't understand. Like, I gave you the example of Amazon. I'm not sure in this batch or other, like, whenever we're trying to search something on Amazon, okay, and that result is not getting it is not available, then what does the Amazon website or app does? They show you a very cute puppy picture, say, sorry, we couldn't find that. Yes. Or it is not found. Have you come across that search result anytime?
Yes.
Yes. So that is their way of handling that, I would say, error, in a way that there is no, I would say, result that is found for your match or your search. That's why they're handling it with a very, very cute puppy face or puppy picture. So your mind is diverted. You don't get that frustrated. Oh shit, my it is not available. So give me a second. Yes. So the next point is technical depth. Technical depth simply means one second. Yeah, sorry for the delay. So technical debt basically means that whenever a development team is working on any piece of code, or they're trying to develop something, they have to ensure that their development pace is faster, or their development pace is as per the required delivery. It should not be delayed, or it should not be for because of any functionality, or because of any particular I would say requirement, it should not be delayed. Like for example, I was taking this scenario wherein in 10 working days we have 10 deliverables. Okay, assuming they are easy, they are simpler ones. Now imagine out of that 10 deliverables, one deliverable, even though it was small or it was easy, it took 3 days. Okay, so what will happen now when that particular requirement took 3 days to develop? It actually kind of I would say it snatched away those 2 days from the other requirements. Do you see that? And now you are at a, backlog, or not backlog, but you are at a, I would say, delayed situation from two requirements point of view, because instead of taking 1 day to develop, that particular requirement took 3 days, and now you lost the additional 2 days which you had planned for other requirements, and now you are at a technical debt. You understand that? So imagine whenever you have to develop something and you have a timeline, and and at some particular requirement you are spending too much of time, that ultimately results in a technical debt. Okay, so and also there should not be any shortcuts or any compromises on the quality. Like many a times, I'll give you a very simple but practical example. If there is any error that is happening in the code, okay, or in at times I know it's not correct, but at times, because in the interest of time or delivery or presentation, some developers simply comment that code. Comment that code means not only comment. There are two meanings of comment. First of all, comment means, like in English, comment, you have to give some titles and give their understanding. And second, comment means hide that code. So what they do, they just hide, or they just ensure that that code does not run. But it is a shortcut. It is a, I would say, escape route, which is not right. So as a manager, we have come across sometimes that people actually do that because they have a presentation to be done, because they need to complete some functionality. But that is an escape route. It is not a proper way to handle that situation. Proper way would be to resolve that code, to resolve that issue, to ensure that that issue or error doesn't occur. So such scenarios needs to be avoided in any case, so we do not come across technical debts. And design principles means, like how we whenever we build a house, and how we have those blueprints, and how we have those architects given, right? So the architecture is given by the architects. Okay, there will be pillars, there will be kitchen, there will be this, and then they do have their set of designing principles. Same fashion, in the similar fashion, in IT also, in development also, there are designing principles when it comes to development. Okay, like when there are like bigger I would say, product to be built, or bigger set of requirements, like big websites or some application. Now imagine if you are working on an application for a hospital setup. Okay, how much in depth, how much accurate the data would be. It will be in so much of detail. There will be blood work, there will be x-rays, there will be other tests. So everything, it is like so inclusive and such a vast application. So in such applications, there are designing principles which are followed, which are not required for you to know, but it's just a good to I would say, good to know scenario, that you should know that, okay, as a developer, as a development team, they should have some design principle that needs to be followed. This is generally the I would say, responsibility of architect or senior member in the development. Okay, so now I understand this is a lot from a technical point of view, but then as a BA, as a product owner, or even a scrum master, tomorrow when you're working in this setup, uh, these points are really good to know, or I would say they'll really add a feather in your cap if you know about them, when it comes to real development process. Yeah. So any doubts in this? I understand this. It's a different, material than you already, or always read or understand. It's not every day that we come across, I would say, unit test coverage and maintainability index and stuff. So yeah, anybody has any doubts on this, please feel free to ask. Unmute yourself. Yes, majority of people are on constant mute. So I will consider this silence as a no. I hope everybody understand. And even if you have some doubts, I will recommend you to rewatch this video, or watch the same video by other trainers on our group, or our earlier sessions video, wherein examples might be different. That explanation might appeal to you more, or it's just a repetition of the topic. Yeah. Gaurav, can we move to next slide, please? Yes. Now, apart from technical functionality, there are some non-functional requirements. Okay, non-functional means you cannot see them on your application. Okay, like when we log in, we see the web page where we say enter username and password. Like when we use and when you log in into our banking system, we see our bank balance. When we transfer some funds, we see funds getting transferred from your account to somebody else's account. Stuff like that. So these all functionalities you can see. That's why they are called as functionalities. But there are some non-functional requirements which are mentioned. Can I request other people who have not spoken till now, please read these points? There are around 9 or
Availability,
10.
non-functional requirements, availability,
Yeah.
maintainability, performance, reliability, scalability, security, usability, compliance, or regulatory, legal.
Yeah, perfect. So what it says is whenever you're developing any piece of code or you're working on any requirement, there are some non-functional requirements. So first of all, availability. Availability and maintainability. That means the coding or the programming that you're doing, that should be available for everyone. Like earlier, not recently, like when I started development, it was around in 2008 or so. So that time it was, integrated software, or teams, server, they were all coming up. So that time every developer or designer could work only on their machine, and then their code was could have been sent to some other team member, and then it used to get integrated. So basically we were working in isolation. But now that is not the case with the latest servers, development, I would say, environments. So you can work on your machine, and when you complete your work, you can actually submit your code to the server, and server being a central repository. That means everybody's code is available to everyone. So tomorrow, if your senior wants to check or review your code, they can just log in into their system and check the code from server, and they can review it. Earlier it used to be your personal copy on your machine. You see the difference? Yes, no? So having code on your machine earlier, which is not the case. So that means whatever work you're doing, that is available. Second, it's maintainability. Now, maintainability, I actually explained in earlier slide when we were talking about coding standards, that basically if you're writing a code today, that does not mean it can be expired after some years. The code should be of such good quality that that same code can be used, or it can be worked upon in future as well. Many a times it happens. Now I'll tell you, login is such a good example for repeatability, that if you change your variables, or if you change your service or database calls, the entire code would work for other application also. Because what it is doing, it is doing a very standard process. It is checking your user ID and checking your password. So for user ID, there is a standard process. Like, there should not be any, I would say, extra those, this should be alphanumerical. It should have a particular length. There should not be any extra special characters except at the rate. There should not be there should not be hash, or there should not be any other space or something like that. So it is a very standard code. You even get those code available on internet, and you can customize them. So that way, the same code which is which can be used, which can be maintained over a long period of time, that needs to be considered. Performance, absolutely yes. If you are working on a website, for example, then you need to ensure that your page load, it's not that your home page is loading in 1 or 2 seconds, and maybe when you are searching for something, it is taking 5 minutes to load. Absolutely not. Nowadays, users do not spend that much time on a particular page. Everybody wants, like, even for your case, okay, you're surfing on some website or internet. Do you wait for 2 to 3 minutes for a page to load? Give me an honest answer.
No.
No.
No? Why? Because it is not a regular practice, right? I mean,
Yeah.
all other websites are delivering in such a fast fashion. 2 minutes is such a very long time. You might even feel that there is something wrong with the page or something wrong with that website, right? So yeah, that is one way of performance. Like, see, this is the best example for giving performance angle, because everybody can understand this. There are other certain scenarios also, like there should not be any never ending loops. Like, whenever we see something going round and round on the screen, you have those icons where it is just loading, and there is no result. So many a times it is because of the bad practice, bad coding practice as well. So we need to ensure that we are writing good codes from performance point of view. From reliability, reliability means the code is foolproof. You have not used any bad coding practices, or you have used proper design principles. That means it's scalable. Scalable means tomorrow the same code can be used in different application, or same functionality can be used, and it is reliable. That means, as I was saying, there should not be any hidden or commented code where there is some error and you are just not using that piece of code. You are hiding that piece of code. No. And by the way, these kind of scenarios really happen in real life. That's why so many requirements are mentioned. You might feel they are repetitive, they're similar, but no. Every characteristics or every non-functional requirement has its own value. So when I say reliable means ensure that the code is properly written in a decent manner. There should not be any hidden cost, like, any hidden variables or anything, any functionality that might end up in never-ending loop, or anything that will cost you later. Scalable simply means that same code can be used in different setup. It can, if you see from coding point of view, it's a very different game. Okay, I mean, there are many factors factors are involved. Like, if you can have same piece of code with different parameters or different inputs, like for example, there are scenarios like integers, characters. Like, if you add 2 plus 2 as an integer, it will give you 4 when we use integers. When you use 2 plus 2 as a character, it will give you a number, or I would say character as 22, because it did not do a summation, because we did not consider it as a number, we consider it as a character. So same way, I mean, I know it's a little technical, in depth, but then there are certain scenarios when such things happen, and we have to follow proper coding standards. Now, security, everybody understands security from internet security point of view, that your code should not be, I would say, hacked, or there should not be any sensitive information easily available. Like, for example, when you set up a password for your banking application, that password is always encrypted and saved in the database. Okay. Encrypted means it is converted in such a format that it is not readable by human beings. It's a machine-made encryption. Okay. So because if you save your, for example, if your password is password @123, it's a universal password. If you use that password and it is saved in same manner in database, anyone can write a query and fetch that data and know your password. Okay. And it is a security threat, to be very honest. So we do not encourage, and nowadays I think it's a standard practice that we have to save the passwords in encrypted format, so they are not easily available, or they are not easily understandable by anyone. Okay. Usability, again, it is very much similar to scalability. The code that we are, developing, it should be usable. There should not be any technical debt in that. It should be of good quality. No loops or no any known error should be there. Most important, compliance, regulatory, or legal. I'll combine all of them. So basically, your code should not have, like, for example, if you're using some third-party code, or if you're using some paid software, so better you include that or mention that. It should not be your propriety. Or if you are working in any particular banking, if you're working for banking applications, then there are some regulatory requirements, like particular reports are need to be generated, particular, I would say, details or asterisk marks, or some conditional statements have to be mentioned. So please adhere to that. So as a BA, if tomorrow you work in banking environment, you should know that there are some legal angles to it. Like, if you, like, submission of tax, or that is mandatory. So if you're working on that kind of website, we ensure that, okay, what is the last submission date and stuff like that. So by the way, these scenarios change as per organization to organization. They change as per customer requirements. But then, as a intermediary between development team and the customer, as a BA, or even as a scrum master or product owner, we should be aware that, okay, this is a set of non-functional requirement which we need to adhere to, which we need to follow, which we need to understand. Okay, so it is not only what you developed on the screen, but it is also what is going in the back end, what is going in the background. That also matters a lot. Yeah, I know quite a few pointers, but then in real life, we all understand them, and we all understand, we all kind of, actually see these points. Okay, so that there is an error when the puppy face comes on Amazon, or there is some delay when that icon is just going round and round. So we know the outcome, but we just did not know the inside understanding of that. So I hope you are at a better understanding after listening to this non-functional requirements topic. So yes, I think we are past time. Any doubts in this particular topic, guys, or you all are already tired? I think. So yes, Gaurav, I think we should give them some time to sink in all these topics. And I think that's it from my end. Over to you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prerna, for bringing this entirely. So, and thank you so much, everyone, staying till the end. And yeah, we have come towards the end of the session today. At the same time, yes, I see that many of you have started typing, and yes, we are here towards the end to see your attendance. Attendance, how we are going to mark. That in the WhatsApp group we are going to go, and there you need to type in your name as well as one or two words. What do you feel like saying before you type in? Just have a look at it, that above your responses I have already dropped the screenshot on which you need to prepare your homework, home play. Okay, so those for the uh, writing acceptance, DOD, writing user stories, I have given the example Fly Agile Airlines, and go ahead, type in your name as well as one thing that you feel like saying, and I'll be personally reviewing them and taking your attendance. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye. Take care. Good night. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye. Thank
Good
you all.
night, guys. Bye bye. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.